Hey everybody, it's Sarah. If you don't know me, I'm a physical therapist and a former yoga teacher. And this is actually the second time I'm recording this because the first time I forgot to save it. But I wanted to talk today about something that came up in the mentorship group that I have. It's called Quantum Leap Community. And it's a mentorship group for teachers. And we were talking about, we're kind of problem solving our way through exercises for people who have had a hip replacement or a knee replacement, and let's say they're out of the kind of acute physical therapy realm, but they're not quite ready to go right into a group yoga class or a group exercise class, or kind of in that middle ground where they might have like a private yoga session. And so we were doing what we do in the group, which is we were kind of all up and moving around and problem solving, getting different movement ideas. And one of the group members came up with this really cool, I would not be able to do it justice if I tried to recreate it, or I don't think I can even describe it, but it was like with a physio ball and kind of in standing and as a way to get at somebody's glutes. And we were talking about it and I was like, this is a really interesting and cool way to do this. However, the person you're working with may need something quite a bit more simple. A lot of the time when somebody's doing a private session with you, it's because they're not ready to go into a group class. And I think sometimes we sort of get, especially if you've been teaching for a long time, you sort of have this internal pressure, or you feel like you're supposed to be constantly coming up with these new, creative, interesting, different ways to do a basic pose that you've done, your students have done many times over. But the thing is, that may be true in a group setting, or you may feel like you want to keep your students entertained in a group setting, keep them coming back, but it's not necessarily true for privates. And I was thinking about it, and if we look at social media and all the different teachers that post, and I'm guilty as well, all these new variations and do your Warrior 2 but with resistance bands, or you're adding a weight, or you're doing it on your furniture at home, or whatever it might be. And sometimes I wonder if we're just trying to entertain ourselves or entertain each other because we've just done these things so many times ourselves, and we're getting bored. But the reality is, if you're doing a private session, it's for a reason usually. And that reason might be this person is not ready for such a complicated, multi-planar, multi-segmental kind of movement. This person may need a really simple lying down on the floor, press down with your feet, lift your hips up, bridge. No, that's not a functional, movement. It's not a squat. It's not working on getting in and out of a chair. But they may not be ready to do that yet. That may come later, right? You may be at the point where really all they can do at the moment is a bridge. And, I've certainly had times when I've worked with people privately where just right away I felt like, oh yes, I know what I want to work on here. I've got a whole bunch of different ideas and we're going to try all these things. There's plenty of times when I've sort of walked into a situation and just been like, I don't know what I want to do here, but that's where you just have them lie down and do the simple movement, because watching that person move is what will then help you understand what they actually need, because you'll be able to see, or you'll start to train your eye to see where they're lacking in the movement, what they're having a hard time with, and that'll then kind of help you direct. The other thing is, you can take something like a bridge and make people do it in a group setting and do a bunch of variations on it, and they won't be bored because their butt's going to be on fire, right? So, I think especially when you're working privately, we sort of have to reset our brains so that it's not so much about how impressed is this person going to be with how complicated and interesting and innovative the movement is that I'm having them do, but rather, what am I trying to get this person to achieve? And if it's to get them to feel their glutes turning on, for example, then that's your goal. And then the movement is just whatever gets that to occur. And if it's a bridge or a clam, and I am the first person to make fun of bridges and clams, but sometimes they're the right thing. And I know that for myself as well, when I did my initial yoga teacher training, I got a lot of education around how to teach in a group setting. I don't remember a lot of education around how to take that and teach privately, and they're very different things. They really are. So, when this came up in our community meeting, it was kind of a new idea for this one member that like, oh, actually in privates, I don't have to be doing all this kind of like fancy, complicated stuff that I might try to do in a group setting. And you don't have to do that in a group class either, by the way. So, give yourself permission to go back to basics, and you'll, I think, be happy with the way that it helps you then kind of understand more clearly what this person's movement needs are. So thanks for watching. Feel free to comment below, and I'll talk to you guys again sometime later.